Hello, my Wellish friends. It's your host, Sarah Rittendale, and today we're going to be talking about how we're going to keep our sanity during the holiday season. Hey, friends, it's Sarah Rittendale. When I decided to act against all the toxic thoughts and feelings I was living with daily and try to become my best self, I quickly fell into the very common trap of perfectionism. So, I decided to create a space where wellness doesn't mean being flawless. Becoming the best version of yourself doesn't just come from conversations about managing your mean mind, learning confidence, and always doing the things that you're supposed to do. Here, we talk about how normal your toxic feelings and thoughts are, that you're not doing something wrong because you don't always feel, think, or act how you envision your best self to, how to implement self-improvement strategies in a realistic way, and we do this through a variety of topics that often prompt our best selves to crave emergence. My mission? Inspire you to recognize that you don't have to be perfect to consider yourself whole, healthy, and well. This is the Wellish podcast. Obviously, we all want to be happy and joyful, and that's what we think of when we think about the holidays, is fun with family and friends and good food and vacation time and all of that good stuff. But obviously, it can also come with a lot of stress and chaos and crossing of boundaries, setting boundaries. I want to talk to you guys about how to get through all of that pressure and chaos while still maintaining your mental health. So in this episode, I'm going to be sharing with you guys my own personal chaos and hecticness that I deal with on the holidays and practical tips for you guys to use in order to stay grounded when you return to your own situation. We're going to be talking about a variety of things, navigating tricky family situations, how to go about a work party, the financial obligation of gift giving, how to make time for yourself when you feel like you're just existing for everybody else during the holiday season. So it'll be good. We'll cover a lot of bases, and hopefully, no matter what your issue is, whatever you're experiencing and feeling right now, this will help you understand or see or come to terms with or be aware that the holidays don't have to be perfect in order for you to find meaning in them and actually enjoy them. You don't have to rely on other people behaving or situations falling perfectly into place, because we're going to talk about the practical tips that you can talk to yourself in your mind about that will help you be more stress-free and will help you maintain some peace when you're dealing with an outside world of a little intense chaos and overwhelming stuff. Okay, the first and most common thing that I feel comes up around the holiday season is that social obligation and overcommitting to all of the people that you want to see, or if I'm being honest, like you're supposed to see during the holiday season. That's intense. That's intense to squeeze everybody all into one bracket of time. It can also be complicated when there's people there that you don't want to deal with. You are not obligated to spend time with anybody that you don't want to. Plain and simple, it doesn't matter that it's a holiday. It doesn't matter. Now, if you feel that you can go be civil and cordial and spend time with that person because it's, somebody that you're going to somebody else's house, you don't have a say over who's there, but the rest of your family is going to be there. And if that's your problem, that you're going to have to be in a situation like you don't really have a choice with somebody that you don't like, go listen to the episode with Liz Landon about reframing mindsets. That might be more helpful for you. But on this episode, I really want to make it clear that you don't have to do that. You don't have to spend time with people that you don't want to spend time with. So my situation is my dad had an affair about 4 years ago. My mom said GTFO, and neither of them ever looked back. My dad never talked to her ever again, and my mom also didn't reach out to him either because she's a badass bitch. So then now he's with this woman, and he said he wasn't for a while. And about a year ago, he told my sister and I that he is with her. And instead of saying hey, let's bridge the gap in small ways and go to lunch for an hour in a public neutral setting together, he wants her to come to my wedding, which I obviously set a boundary with, and that upset him. And now he wants her to come to my sister's house for Christmas. And the only reason that we're going to my sister's house is because we don't want to go to his house where she is. So, and to give him that opportunity. So that was our first thing, is that we got in front of that by saying, like, taking some accountability, taking some responsibility, and saying, hey, we're going to host Christmas at our house this year. So that's, one tip for you to kind of get in control of the situation in that sense, because then you get to pick and choose who comes to your house. But, then he tried to invite her anyways, and tried to, fight back with us. And we just were very calm and neutral and clear. And we literally said, we hope we can maintain our relationship, have a good relationship with you while you respect these boundaries, because Christmas is a time to preserve our joy and happiness. And could I sit with her and be civil and cordial? Absolutely. But am I going to be happy during that moment? No. So that's not how I want to spend my holiday. And I'm allowed to choose how I spend my holiday. And then he's allowed to choose the same thing. That if he doesn't want to go and spend the weekend, we don't do it on Christmas Day since my parents are divorced. So we do it with my dad a weekend day before. So if and that's the other thing. It's not like I'm asking him to leave his girlfriend on Christmas either. But if he doesn't want to do that, I can make my choice, and then he can make his choice, and he can choose that he doesn't want to come without her. And then obviously that choice will have its consequences too. But you have to live in your truth in what you want to do, because you're messing with somebody else's opportunity to learn in life and grow and figure things out. You're not living genuinely by holding it all inside and doing things for other people's emotions and not taking care of your own. And then just like, because of this dynamic of I've got to go to my dad's house, I've got to go to my mom's house, I've got to go to my fiance's parents' house. We've got to make sure that my stepson gets to his mom's house. Like, there's a lot of moving pieces. And I just want to say that you don't have to feel obligated to say yes to everything. You get to choose what you do. Now, likely you're going to want to go to all those things. Like, I want to do I'll go to all three of those places. So it's important to me to figure out how to do that and find joy and happiness in that, and be able to spend time with all these people that I love in this like short window, like, and find the joy in that compared to the stress. But being able to, say, no, I can't make it there at 11 o'clock. I won't be able to get there until like 2 because I have to space this out. And if that also includes giving yourself a window of time for yourself, that's important to take too. Don't feel pressed to fit your schedule into everybody else's. Everybody can come to a compromise. You're an adult that can make this decision and prioritize yourself and your happiness for your holiday. And something that might be helpful with that too is having a go-to response when you have to decline something or you have to push something back. If you want to say no entirely, something as simple as like, thank you so much for inviting me, but I'm actually focusing on some much needed downtime this year. Like, that I'm not doing anything crazy this year. Like, I'm trying to save up money for X, Y, and Z. I'm trying, whatever, just being like open with people and neutral about it. What can people say? It is what it is. I love you. I'm sorry. I appreciate you inviting me. You don't even have to say sorry, but I need to focus on myself and peace this year, or whatever, or say, I'm sorry. I'm just trying to make sure I enjoy my holiday. I don't really want to rush around. I'll get there around this time. I hope that's all right. And they can make their choice from there. So just taking a moment now to reflect on your own social obligation. Is there anything when you look at your holiday calendar that you're doing because of obligation, not because you genuinely want to or enjoy that? And think about how to maybe make that a little bit better, and just be honest with yourself. Sometimes it can be easy to just convince ourselves that we're capable of getting from point A to B in 20 minutes, even though it literally takes 40 to get there. Just be honest with yourself. Give yourself an hour window. Give yourself a 2-hour window and say, they'll live. It'll be okay. They want me to be there. I'm invited because they want me there. So they should be happy to just be in my company, that we can enjoy. That sounds conceited, but like, they should just be happy that we can enjoy each other's time together, that we can be in each other's company. Another common thing that we have to deal with during the holidays is navigating work parties, which can be a little intimidating because it's like this weird crossover episode that you're being personable and normal and being seen how you were like you act in real life, and work professional, I'm not telling you certain parts of me. And it can get a little stressful because you feel like you want to like relax and be yourself, but you also want to make sure that you're on guard when you're drinking in front of your boss. You know what I mean? It's like you feel this obligation to show up in a way that's not authentic to who you actually are. Because of that, I've learned to set small boundaries to make me feel the most comfortable, like knowing what time I will get there and when I'll leave. Like I want to make sure that I get there early so that I can maybe get a drink before the party and then I can walk over there and, enter that situation. I also know I have my coworker that I'm really good friends with that I'll stick with her, and, we'll talk and communicate that way. We can bounce off of each other to hold conversations when the conversation maybe starts to get a little like awkward and lacking and somebody needs to say something because we're just sitting here in silence. I also think like being mindful of what I'm wearing. Last year I came and I wore like a sweater that went right to my belt line, and when we took the picture you could see my belly button in the picture, and I wanted to literally like jump off the roof. And I know it's not that big of a deal, and now looking back a year later it's not that big of a deal, but like I just don't want any wardrobe malfunctions. I don't want to have to worry about what I'm wearing. Just wearing something simple and easy that I don't have to mess with, that I feel good in, is the way to go. So I don't have anything else to think about except my responses to people until the event is over. I also don't think there's anything wrong with looking up some conversation starters. Like look up, like literally if you Google what are conversation starters for a work party, you can put these things in your back pocket. And I'll give you guys a little tip that I learned when I was in a sorority recruitment. Okay. So something cool that I literally use in my real life. This is the only thing I got out of being in a sorority outside of my friends. So what you do when you're talking to a person, let's say they say, I went to the movies this weekend with my mom. You pick a word in their sentence to go off of. So I went to the movies this weekend with my mom. You've got weekend, you've got mom, and you've got the movies. You could say, what movie did you see? What type of movies do you typically like? And you could go down the rabbit hole with that. You could say weekend. Oh, that's a fun weekend activity. What a relaxed thing. What do you normally like to do on the weekends? And go that route with it. And then carrying conversation depending on what they say after. Or you've got mom. Oh, you enjoy spending time with your mom. Like, that's so nice. I wish I had that, or I do have that, and I enjoy spending time with my mom too. What do you guys typically do together? And you've got like all of these avenues that you can create conversation with, and everything that the person says, there's always just one word you can pick up on and create conversation from there. So that's my best conversation tip for people that it's hard to hold a conversation with, which is a lot of the time, like it's very common at work parties because you're not like friends. You're not at a party together because you're friends. You're at a party together because you all happen to work under the same building, which doesn't require you to have something to talk about with everybody. I also think like having something in your hands can help with the awkwardness if you're feeling like anxiety or nervous. I always like prefer a warm drink that always like helps calm me down, but honestly even like water, like anything to help me feel like that sensation and like center myself again, and just again something to do with your hands. So even if it's a non-alcoholic drink, just having something to kind of like soothe you and focus on and to do with your hands when you feel awkward. If you're the type of person too that like when they feel awkward they like sit on their phone or something like that, that's a good tactic to replace the phone. You take a sip of your drink if there's an awkward pause in conversation, whatever, so that you can utilize while still appearing approachable and professional. Just making sure that you're setting boundaries with yourself before you head into these circumstances, that you say, when I start to feel overwhelmed, I'm going to step out. Even if it's not that big of a deal, I'm just going to stand outside for a moment, or I'm going to go stand in the bathroom stall for a moment, recenter, and come back so that I can always be here with a clear mind. Whatever it is your boundary has to be. Maybe it's how long you stay. Okay, I know that I can get to talking and I get anxiety about how much that I ramble on about things. So maybe I'll cut myself off at 7 o'clock and say that it's time to go. How can you protect your energy while still showing up? All of these tips that I've given for the work party can obviously also be transferred into managing family dynamics at a party too, because sometimes managing the family dynamic can be very challenging. There's all these complicated dynamics and clashing personalities and old tension that comes up. It really makes family gatherings some of the like most complicated part of the holidays, honestly. And even if anything isn't actively happening, it's like you feel on edge. Your wall is up. You're constantly thinking of the next thing you're going to have to say, which just isn't fun. It's not a good way to, like, you don't feel peaceful and happy that you can just like relax and enjoy your vacation and enjoy your holiday. And that's the goal. You know what I mean? Like, isn't that fucking crazy that I dread this vacation and this Christmas because of all of the chaos that happens? You don't want to feel that way. I don't want to feel that way. So just bringing back to that mantra every time that stuff starts to come up is that, like, I'm doing this because I want to feel good and I deserve to enjoy my holiday. I have one family member who likes to monopolize the holiday. They don't see why it's fair that I'm spending time with one person over the other, and having to set that firm but polite boundary of I need to be able to spend time with all these people. I am going to spend my holiday in a way that makes me the happiest, and that does involve you. I want to be around you. It's just that I can't spend the entire time with you. And again, what can people say when you're just saying how you feel and what you're going to do? But getting in front of it and saying it ahead of time allows me to enjoy my holiday without the stress of like, oh my God, are they going to be mad? Oh my God, I'm going to have to deal with that. Oh my God, what are they going to say? Oh my God, what's my comeback going to be? Like, fuck all of that. I don't want to fucking deal with all of that. So I'm just going to say, hey, you know what? I know I would love it if we could spend the whole time together. That would be so fun. But realistically, that's just not, that doesn't work for me. It doesn't work for my dynamic. So I'm going to spend as much time with you as I can, but I can't spend the entire time with you. And then it is what it is. And then you move on. Setting clear expectations for yourself at these family events. Saying, I'm not going to let them make me feel bad for going to another place because I have to share my holiday with multiple people. Setting the expectation for yourself that if things get a little out of hand, that you'll step outside. Setting the expectation for yourself that when someone tries to put you down, because they do every single year, that you won't even give them a response, that you'll say something like, I'm so happy to be here. Oh, wow, Linda, looks like you've gained some weight this year, huh? I'm just so happy to be here. Thanks for inviting me. And then walking away, just like not even giving them anything. I'm not even entertaining that. Small pauses and allowing yourself to reset and come back to the situation is something that's totally normal. And you can do that in a normal way. Again, like go get a glass of water, go excuse yourself to go to the bathroom. There's so many easy exits that you can make. A lot of the time you could even just like sneak away, go take a couple breaths, regroup, plan for your responses, and get back out there. We know what's going to happen. When we go there, we don't know exactly what's going to happen, but we've spent enough time with these people that we can predict how their behavior is likely going to play out. So instead of spending time ruminating on all of the responses that you could have and creating conversations that might not happen in your head and all of these things, spend that time creating a plan for yourself. What are you going to say when this person does X, Y, and Z? And when you actually, I would even encourage you to write that stuff down. Hold yourself accountable. Write it down and read it. Read it every morning. Read it on your way to the event. Keep it in your pocket and go read it in the bathroom. Something that's going to help you. And the reason you actually put it into the physical is because when you have it in your mind, you think like, oh yeah, I got this. I can do it. It's in my mind. But then you get into the conversation and you start to stumble. When you actually bring it into the physical, it helps hold yourself accountable and it helps put it in the front of your mind so that you can execute it once that situation arises. And it's not going to look exactly as it does on the paper either, because you have to maneuver and manipulate what you say to coincide with what actually happened. We can't predict the future on that piece of paper. It's just general ideas of what you're going to do and how you're going to tackle that. So you can feel like you acted in correlation with how you actually feel. I want to talk about financial strain and the gift giving pressure. It's a lot, and it feels honestly kind of ingenuine to buy gifts for all of these people that like you wouldn't buy a gift for. You're just doing it because that's what you're supposed to do. And I personally, I know that it's like the right thing to do or whatever, the socially acceptable thing to do. But I feel that I wouldn't want a gift from somebody that just felt they had to give one to me. Like, what a crappy reason to give somebody a gift. Oh, I felt like I had to because I was going to see you at this party. It's not like the reason people give gifts is because they thought of somebody when they saw something and they genuinely want it to bring them joy and happiness. And obviously, even when you're intentionally giving gifts, that can still be a thing. But it's the social obligation and the financial obligation to give gifts to any and everybody. Prioritize your financial wellness. You're not required to go broke so that you can make sure that Cindy doesn't feel awkward at the party. Oh, Cindy, she's my kitty that just passed away. It's overwhelming. So take away that overwhelm. And if you feel like you have to get something for somebody, do something smaller. It's not that intense, and make it a little bit more thoughtful. Make somebody an ornament, write them a card, do something that is cost friendly and thoughtful, and it will be good enough for anybody. Like, and if somebody had anything to say that your gift wasn't good enough, they're the asshole. We know that. Set a budget for the holidays and stick to it. Like throughout the holiday, I remember my parents used to literally have a Christmas account that every month throughout the year, they put money in that account. So for Christmas, they had a lump sum that they could use or that they would use for gifts. And that's all they had to give for gifts, what they put in this account. Obviously, we're a couple days out from Christmas and you haven't potentially been saving all of year for it, but give yourself a budget now. I have these people to buy something for. I will not spend more than $500 for all of these people. My family this year, because we're all saving up for the wedding, we're doing a lot of secret Santas. It makes it really nice because we all don't have a ton of money to be spending on gifts, and we just are going to buy a gift for one person. So we can still maintain the tradition of buying gifts for each other, but it's a secret Santa moment. We don't have to buy something for every single person, which again helps with the cost. You can also go the route of like experiences. Like instead of everybody buying gifts for each other, how about we put that money towards a ticket to go see a play and we can experience a play together? That would be so cool. Like going to wherever your downtown is. Like we could go to, in my case, we would go to downtown Chicago and go to see the Christmas Carol play. Like that would be so cool. What a better use of that money than just buying you something like some sweater that maybe you'll wear, maybe you won't, and it'll just get shoved into the back of your closet and you feel bad and won't ever donate it because this person bought it for you. Like, what? Like, don't do all of that. But instead you could have this like experience, or you could have a shared meal together where you can go to like a really good, cool restaurant, you know, something that you can enjoy each other's company, because that is what it's about. It's not about fucking buying the gifts for people. It's about connection and being with the people that you love, and saying like the reason you buy the gift is to say, I appreciate you and I love you. So give them something, do something with them that says that, not just because you feel like you got to buy them a pair of Jordans. And you can ask yourself, what does meaningful gift giving look like for me? Maybe for you, it is the pair of Jordans. Maybe for you, it is spending the money. I'm just saying you don't have to do that. And meaningful gift giving can also be just writing somebody a handwritten letter. You can give them a journal with a note about why you love them and some chocolates and call it good. The point is that you thought of the person, and that's what people will enjoy. Do not feel like you have to break yourself in order to prove that to people. Another pain point during the holidays is maintaining your physical health. People talk about that all the time. There's all of this food, you're relaxing, you're vacationing, so you're probably not exercising a whole ton, and it's just like the age-old issue when it comes to this time of year. How do I stay on diet? How do I maintain my physical goals and still enjoy my holiday? And I think the biggest thing is finding a way to not label food and your experience as good or bad. Like you're not failing. You can't have this deprecating dialogue in the back of your head while you're trying to enjoy a holiday meal. You have to say, okay, like I'm telling myself on these days, I'm going to just take a step back enjoy the holiday, and I know that I'll get right back on track as soon as I get to it. But having that label and sitting there hounding yourself about how you're fucking yourself over is not going to bring you any peace. Like, you're just going to be stressed out and doing something that you don't feel good about, like overeating, and not exercising. You can feel like you're letting yourself down, but you have to remember that healthy habits have to be sustainable, and it is not going to be perfect. You are not going to have a perfect diet for the rest of your life. We want to enjoy life. We want to enjoy food and enjoy time spent relaxing, and you're allowed to do those things. So giving yourself permission to enjoy it and trusting yourself to get back to it when the holidays are over. Listen to your body. If it's asking for rest, do that. If it wants to enjoy a treat, do it. And do it without guilt. Don't feel obligated to be so rigid on what you want to do. It's about flexibility. And if you're not exercising, do like some cute little winter simple activities, like go for a walk. Or just do a quick stretch, just move your body a little bit somehow. You don't have to do a whole intense workout every single day on Christmas Day or whatever it is that you're doing. Just do something small just to move your body, make sure your blood's flowing through your veins still. And it keeps you moving and feeling good without the pressure of like having this like full regimen. Really think about how to find a way for you to practice your wellness and thinking of it like that. I want to be well compared to like, I want to be like the healthiest health person ever on this holiday. Sometimes it can feel too like you're trying to like prove to the people that you see around that you're like, yeah, I'm healthy. I do all of these things. But when you just authentically show up that way, it'll be seen. Just be mindful. Just be mindful. Eat smaller portions if that's what's important to you. Just do whatever it is that's going to bring you the most peace. The last thing I think it's really important to cover is finding time for yourself amid the chaos. I have realized that during the holidays, I get really overwhelmed and I find myself accommodating other people's schedules and feelings over my own. But if I take even just small pockets of time to make sure that I'm prioritizing myself, it makes a really big difference. Like taking a small walk or taking a bath or a shower or just even a few extra minutes in the car, and intentionally setting that time aside to do that, it allows you to enter these situations in a way that you feel proud of, that you feel you're showing up in an authentic way. You deserve to have that time. You deserve to enjoy the holiday. You deserve to move slow. You deserve to have this vacation. And you don't have to feel like, oh my God, I got to get to the next location. Otherwise Aunt Shirley's going to kill me. Like, I'm not doing all of that. So maybe even picking a self-care practice that you can turn to so that you remember to turn to it. Again, taking the time to walk outside, go to the bathroom, take a moment in the car, whatever it is, pick what your thing is going to be, if that would make it easier for you, or just have them in the back of your head to utilize when you need them. As we wrap up, I just want to remind you that everything doesn't have to go perfectly in order to have a meaningful holiday. You cannot control what other people do. You cannot control how other people show up on holidays, but you can control what you tolerate, what boundaries you set, what you're willing to put up with and what you're not. And you have the control to say, I'm going to prioritize my own peace because I want to enjoy the holiday and feel relaxed. I don't want to live for other people and live frantically to fit into their schedule and idea of how things are going to go. I want to choose my own path for the holiday and prioritize what makes me feel good and happy. Coming up, just as a reminder, next week there is not going to be an episode because that is me prioritizing my own well-being. I know I sometimes get overwhelmed when I have to juggle both traveling and recording and editing and posting. So I just want to enjoy the holiday, not stress about it. So there's not going to be an episode on the 30th, but then we're going to kick our new year off with an interview as we talk about embracing discomfort. So we have that to look forward to kickstart 2025. But this is the last episode of 2024. So I love you and I appreciate you. And it's just so cool to have a whole year of Wellish under my belt. So I just wanted to say that I appreciate you. I would love to hear how you guys are navigating the holidays this year. What boundaries are you setting? What are you going through? Tell me your drama. Tell me about your life. I'll give you advice if you want, or I can just be an outlet if you want, whatever. I would love to be included on it so I can cheer you on. Hold yourself accountable by putting it in your Instagram story and tagging at Wellish Podcast. Before you go, make sure to leave a rate and review so that we can grow our Wellish community, so that people know that you do not have to be perfect in order to be well and healed and live a happy life. Also, subscribe to the show so that you do not miss any more of these Wellish conversations. I am in your corner. I am wishing you luck. I know you can handle it. Prioritize yourself and your happiness this holiday and be joy-free, stress-free, carefree. You deserve it. You worked really hard. I love you. I will talk to you guys in 2025. I'll talk to you next year. Bye, guys.